Hello and welcome. My name is Greatman Ayilara, and I'm super excited to be on your screen again this very moment on intentional parenting, a program which we decided to start by deliberating together on how we can raise viable leaders that will be replacing us when we exit the stage of life. It is very important and very cogent that we come around the round table to talk about the things that affect our children, so we are able to have a good foundation, very firm foundation that can propel them forward to become the kind of leaders that we intended. I know it's not so popular, but as time goes on, I believe that we can build on this and be able to help each other. In the time past, we have discussed so many things regarding how we can effectively raise up our children. It's been very profitable. And I've had parents who reached out to me, and we talk about how we can even personalize most of the information we share on the platform on intentional parenting. We've got several testimonies, and we are still getting so much more. There was a time we talked about the danger of unsupervised technology. We had testimony regarding that. And then we also have mentioned things about befriending our children and forming a parent-children kind of friendship, and how that can help us to gain a vista into their thought pattern, into the way they think, how that can make us become their closest ally and best confidant, so we can easily just block the loopholes of predators who come around them. Now, I do mention that when predators want to take your children for granted, the very first question the predator asks your child is who he or she is closest to the most between the mother and the father. So I mentioned that a male predator prefers the child to be close to the female parent, and a female predator prefers you to be closer to your male parent. With so many reasons, you can go to my YouTube channel, just type Greatman Ayilara on YouTube to get that particular information for your own benefit. Today, I'm saying emphatically and asserting that if our children really want the luxury of life, we must teach them how to earn it. That is what we are talking about today. If they really want the luxury of life, we must teach them how to earn it. Now, you realize that as a parent to your child, either you are a single parent, divorced parent, separated parent, grandparent, on-duty parent, or indirect parent, there are some basic amenities that you are meant to create for your children. They have the right to be housed in a very good place. They have the right to be fed well. They have the right to basic education. And they have the right to be protected because you are their guardian, and then you are also their parent in a way. It doesn't matter if they are your biological children or you adopted these children. Now, there are some other secondary needs that our children want, and then we must know how to make them understand the value of life, especially in this day and age where technology is driving everybody. Everyone wants to look fancy. Everybody wants to drive fancy stuff. Everybody wants to brag and boast, either online or offline. The reason why your children get so easily depressed because of what their mates are showing to them online, either on Instagram, Facebook, whatever application that will be available in your own day when you join us later. I'm saying that whatever it is that will put your children under peer pressure to want to really get what is raining on ground is because of your own laxity or your own inefficiency to teach them how to earn the good things of life that they want. When you teach your children how to earn what they want, you realize that you automatically, indirectly are teaching them how to be contented and how to invest in hard work. Now, children are covetous in nature because when they were growing up, they are used to the fact that everything they needed to be provided for them. Now, if we don't help them to curb that part of their brain that stimulates that sense of entitlement, they might at the end of the day grow up to become overly gluttony when it comes to acquisition of property. And basically, I'm reaching out to those who are privileged, parents who have money, parents who are well to do. I'm reaching out to you and begging you, please. We know you have all these things, doesn't matter, it doesn't do anything. But you must let your children also understand or teach them how to earn those things. Now, I was in the car with a particular man, and we were driving. His friend called him and told him that, okay, in this part of our own side of Lagos, he wants him to house his cousin or something. And we were talking, and the man was trying to ask me for wisdom. That how can my friend be asking me for this? You live in Ikeja, I live in Lekki, and because your cousin is having a job in VI, you want me to house this child. When we were growing up together, we were coming all the way to VI from Ayoboy Ikpaja side, and we dare not come late to work. And this is what I told him, and I said, most times people who grew up from a very, very hard background tends to not have the ability to teach their children the value of climbing the ladder in a proper way or proper manner. We tend to vow to ourselves and say, the things I've been through, my children must not go through them. Yes, that is fine. What I'm saying to you, are you trying to nullify the lessons you learned growing up the way you grew up? I'm not necessarily telling you to make your children suffer or make them go through what you went through. But I'm saying that can you also help them understand that they can grow to be something out of nothing? Or you just want to provide for all their needs, knowing fully well that you might not always be around. You will not even always be around. Now you could train these children up with the stimulation that everything they need, it will be provided for them. And you indeed provided everything and you die. You see, Yoruba people say that a house that is built with saliva, when the dew comes, it's going to get crumbled. Ile tafi tomo eri longo. Now, these children, it's not the money you have given to them or they are inherited that we are talking about. We are talking about, do they inherit the value behind this money? The value and what it takes to gather this thing together. Do they have the mentality of multiplication? Are you teaching them on how to increase what you have already provided? And you don't teach them how to increase by providing for all their needs, including the luxury. You teach them the power of increment or power of multiplication when you make them earn what they want in life. They want it and they must earn it. And in earning it, it doesn't have anything to do with sending them into labor camp to make them go through all those things. No. There are different ways your children could earn something from you. When I was growing up, I started schooling as far back as the 80s. And I didn't come from a rich family at all. So my parents, they would give us 2 naira 50 kobo as a lunch money, 2 naira 50 kobo. We were considered to be rich then. So by break time, I would go out of the school compound and we go to this woman selling fried yam with palm oil by the roadside and some pepper sauce. I'll buy the fried yam of 50 naira and it's going to be 50 kobo rather, and it's going to be so plenty and much. I share with my friend and we eat. And then I take a perfect drink for myself for the cost of 50 kobo also. So I get to save 1 naira 50 kobo every day, 5 days in a week. And then there are some times that my mother would tell me that there's no money today. You know what to do. So what I do is that I go to my piggy bank, or what they call kolo of the state, to draw money out of it. Now, during the festive season, my parents will tell you that, what kind of clothes do you want? Do you want the satin? Do you want guinea? Do you want brocade or whatever? Anyone you want, this is what my parents will tell you. They'll tell you that, okay, it's good to have a luxury of life and enjoy your life. It's festive season, people should live fine. But how much have you saved to be able to buy that clothes? We were quite young. They should provide for us. But then I didn't know what they were doing. So they did it first year. I wanted to buy a very good clothes that my friends were using. And my mother taught me a very, very valuable lesson. She asked me, how much have you saved to really want that luxury of life? And I told her I didn't save anything. I was around the age of 5, quite young, you know. I was in primary 2 or something. And then she said, this is what's going to happen. She bought a cotton material. Cotton material, you know what I mean by cotton material? What they used to do with the blind. And she said, this is what my money can afford. So it's either you wear it with pride or you forget about going out on the festive day, which is Christmas Day. And to a little child, that is like an outbreak, the highest form of betrayal. How can you give me a window blind to sew for festive season? And that singular action taught me a lesson that you don't eat with all your hands. You don't eat with everything. Everything you get, you don't eat everything. And then I proposed in my heart, without being taught at all, to start saving. So I asked her to buy me what they call colo piggy bank, and then it was made in mud to sell soil under the mold with water. And then I started saving. So it is a case of, I want to get this. I tell my mother, I really, really want to buy this. I feel like buying it. And she tells me, well, how much do you have? So I put something forward and she added to it. And gradually, I began to get independence. Now, note that this independence and this saving scheme is not totally independent of my mother's money or my parents' money. It was a part of the money they were giving to me that I was saving to be able to afford what I want. Now, the riddle or the proverb of cut your coat according to your size was not taught me by just mentioning a rhyme. It was taught me by practical way. So I knew automatically that I cannot afford this. I knew that, okay, even if I want to buy something of 100 naira, I should at least have 25 naira. At least. It is a way of encouraging my parents to be able to also for the rest. Not because they cannot provide, but they are teaching a lesson that, come, child, when you want the luxury of life, then you must earn it. You must work for it. So also for our children, we can't afford to make them take things for granted. We must teach them how to earn. Now, this is one thing my mother used in a way to train me up also. When we have visitors and they give us money, because most of you make that mistake. You make the mistake of telling your children that, okay, you have to earn what you want and all that. But you don't teach them how to earn practically. My mother will make sure that if a visitor gives me money, she doesn't collect it from me. She just look at me like this. And I get the message that I'm supposed to save the money. But what do you do as parents of these days? When visitor gives your children money, you collect it from them and you spend it. And these children are learning from you firsthand, because they know when visitors give money, you spend. So when visitors give them money, they also spend. But when visitors give them money and you help them to save, they know that when you are not there, when they get money, it is meant for saving. Do you get the logic now? Now, another lesson that I learned from my beautiful mother was teach that apart from saving, you must also learn how to invest. So at the time, I began to crave from some different kind of food and all that. And one time she told me that, do you know you can grow this food yourself? And I couldn't understand. And one of these days she said, how much do you have? And I told her, she said, okay, this is it. Bring some of it. She went to the market, she bought me seedlings of some fruit and all that. And the way government runs then, it was like statutory that every family must have a farmland. So she told me, okay, this part of, she measured a place for me and said, this part to this part is your own farmland, out of the general farmland, and you can plant whatever you want on it. So it became like a baby project for me also. So I started knowing that, okay, getting money, saving it is not enough. I must also know how to invest the money. So whatever it is that I want, in order to tap into the law of multiplication, I get them, I nurture them. I started nurturing my own chickens. I started nurturing my own potatoes and the kind of food that I want. I felt responsible. I was really responsible for what things that I want in my life. And I knew that, okay, this is how to multiply things. You don't only save, you also multiply. Now, these are the virtues that I grew up with. And I'm not saying train your children up exact same way, but I'm saying that you can train up children who can be responsible in the latter day. They can be so responsible that you can just leave them to live life without worrying yourself. First, you teach them how to earn what they want. Now, in earning, like I mentioned earlier, it is not necessary that they must earn it in terms of money. It could be a form of good behavior. It could be a form of giving them a chore as an exchange for what they want from you. There was a time I wanted a bicycle from my mother, and I know what she made me went through before I could get a bicycle from her, you know. And having gotten the bicycle, I felt so happy because I earned this and I treated it like my own baby. Now, our children will be coming into some strange kind of wealth. Don't destroy their lives with the wealth you labored for. Help them to also grow. Help them to come into the time that you have to sweat, break a sweat before you begin to break a bread. The sweat you don't break, you don't decide to break the bed of that sweat. Now, this will teach them self-control automatically. It will curb their passion or their tendency to be corrupt at the end of the day. And these are the children that will be growing up to go into public offices. And when they get there, what they think about is not to loot the treasury or public office, but what they think of is how to increase it and even earn their own pay alone. So we must constantly teach these children how to be responsible. And this is what I tell parents. It doesn't matter when you are ready to start. As early as possible, these children can learn from you at any time, even as little as they are. Teach them you don't waste food in this house. If I give you food and you can't finish it, help them to understand that you got to know how to save. This is something about me. If you give me morning food and I don't feel like eating, I don't request for afternoon food or evening food without consuming that one. Now, I have this conservative mentality. You must finish one before you take the other. You don't dare to waste it. I don't care if it is coming from heaven like manna. I must make a responsible decision at every gift that I have. But are we training our children up that way these days? Where we just don't care if they waste food, if they maximize the little they have or whatever. And it starts with even ordinary water. How you help them handle water. I could recollect that even when we go to the bathroom those days, my father will always complain that you're wasting water. This is resources. I'll be like, look, we paid for it. He said, yes, you paid for it. But if you pay for it and you don't waste it, the excess could go to other family who cannot afford to pay for it. I made a post some times ago and I said, it doesn't matter if you pay for your light bill or not. Don't leave your television on if you are going out. It is wrong. You're wasting resources. We keep complaining that resources, energy resources, is not enough. But the ones we have, we keep wasting it. So my father will always go around the house to make sure that all the light bulbs are off during the daylight. And there's a time you turn them on. We maximize everything. Not necessarily because I came from a poor family, but because I have parents who know value for every single drop of water. And if you are not maximizing what you have, you don't have the right to ask for more. Is that how we train our children up these days? So they go out, they leave their TV on, they leave the light bulb on. They don't even close the door of the fridge. They eat like they are picking stuff like a fowl is picking food. And they waste it and they ask for the other and you give to them. You bought clothes for them and they have not finished wearing this thing. You are giving them more. And phones are coming out and you are buying smartphones for children who don't know what it takes to earn it. A secondary school child is asking for a phone of 45,000, 50,000 and you think because you have the money, they have the right to use it when they don't know what it takes to break a sweat so that they can eat the bread. It is wrong. We are the ones setting these children up for failure and we are the ones messing their life up. We must provide for their basic need. Luxury of life must be earned. Just like the government of every nation. They don't care if you are poor, but the moment you go to some luxury hospitality buildings or eatery, you pay VAT. You pay VAT more than others. The things that are luxurious is what a normal government charge you for, and they give you VAT upon. They don't take VAT on the normal things of life that is common to everybody. So also the children must be trained up and raised to understand that if you want to enjoy the luxury of life, there are prices for you to pay to be able to earn these things. So you can never go wrong raising up children in a way of discipline. They might think it's hard. They might think they are not getting what their mates are getting. They might think that you are depriving them of the future, of the fun of life. But I'm saying that one day they will look back the way I'm looking back right now, and they will praise you for it. I praise my mother for the way she raised me up. Will your children be able to praise you? Now we have children who are going into internet fraudsters job like their life depends on it. They all want to ride Benz today. They all want to get the next thing. iPhone is always updating every now and then. They have no self-control to be able to make use of what they have. The mobile phone I'm using to broadcast to you right now, I bought it like 3 years ago. I've not changed the charger and I've not changed the phone. And if you look at it, you think it's new. The maintenance culture. As at that time when we were watching TV, my family had this Akpoti Fedeco, this big box TV with black and white, and then you need to even slap it before it comes on. It was that bad. And then our neighbors, they have color TV. We were thrilled to actually watch people in colored form, and then we would be tempted to go and queue at their window side to watch their TV. And if my father comes back home and he sees us there, you are dead already. You have sentenced yourself to death. And it's going to sit you down and talk to you the way I'm talking to you right now. There is no shouting. It's going to talk to you and tell you the person you are watching in the color TV, what it's saying, is it different from what they are saying in the white, black TV? If you are not contented with little, it's like you want to become armed robbers. They give us the story of Anini and all those Shinorambo and all that, how they ended up and all that. Even though it was scary to us, but it was profitable. So they made you serve the punishment of being a longer throat, or what they call it, to being covetous. So you see children of our age, we stay home irrespective of what we lack. And we were contented with the little we have. And we wear what we have with pride. So much that the people in the neighborhood who are richer than us became envious of us. They became so envious of us. Their children will want, what we are using, even though it is outdated. And their parents will be telling them, but this one is the old school and all that. They'll be like, the way Ayilara children are, that's what I want. Now, in our own moment of contentment and satisfaction, because we have been trained to wear even our scar with pride, we are able to put a higher pressure on children who have access to all these amenities and luxury of life. So I always say that I'm going to train my children up with the consciousness that the battle of life is a battle of peer pressure. Let the best pressure win. If it is the bad pressure and the good pressure, because I'm going to pressurize my children to be able to wear their pressure in the way that it oppresses other people. The little I have, I'm going to train them up with it and make them wear it with pride, live it with pride, and grow with pride. Now, not this day where your children cry and become depressed. You see children of teenage children who are becoming depressed, they are becoming hypertensive because you did not train them how to tame their own desire and their own longing for life. You did not train them. And this thing have a lot of repercussion on their health. And it's going to still bounce back on you. As young children are now committing suicide on things that you think is mundane and very, very silly stuff. But because they were not trained to be able to understand how to approach life with contentment, the repercussion and the fallout we get from it are the current suicide that we have these days. We do not even teach them how to have self-esteem or build up their own confidence. So when they profess love for someone or someone professes love for them and the person withdraws the interest, they become depressed and they kill each other. You see that your children are fighting Excuse me, please. Your children are fighting, involved in cultism, rivalry, because of things that are very silly. That's because you failed as a parent at home. I say, this is what the scripture says across board. It said, train up a child in the way that they will go, so that when they grow up, they will not depart from it. You determine how they go by the way you grow them up. You determine how your children grow, how your children go, or where they go by the time, by the way you grow them up. Because this is your sole responsibilities. It is your sole responsibility to be able to make them understand that, come, nothing lasts forever. You must be contented. You must learn how to be satisfied with what you've got. Now I'm going to tell you a story of my life. It was a time of Great Depression, and my parents wasn't having much, and my mother was a teacher, earning very little, below 100 naira. And my father, a doctor, wasn't having a job at that time. And because we have this open-ended relationship in the family, everybody knows the status of everybody, irrespective of your age. It doesn't matter. We don't keep things from each other. So we basically know that we are living according to the means of my mother then. And then it was so bad that we could not really afford to buy fish to be able to eat. For you to be able to eat eba, gari, in the afternoon, it is like eating jollof rice. Because then you take maybe pap in the morning, you go to school, you come back, you drink gari. Eba is circumstance, is very constant for evening food. So anytime there is rain and we come home and my mother make eba for you in the afternoon, you know you are enjoying. We push all rice to December time, all chicken to December time. We don't drink soft drink anyhow. Just the way you spoil your children with soft drink and juice. We drink it only in December time. You have access to one bottle of Fanta in a year. Now, we started eating our food without meat, without protein. And we were really actually living on this atagbigbe, that dry chili, the dry chili. The stuff was so, the depression was so bad, we could not go to the grinding machine to grind it. So we use what they call olo. I don't know, I think it's a grindstone. So the pepper we want to use for tomorrow, we will have soaked it today, and then we will grind it with so many onions. And my parents started saying that these children are becoming so depressed and all that, there is no meat. So my father taught me the very first psychological living of my life. So he said that when you want to make the food, cut the onions big. You tell us to cut the onions very big. Up until today, I am still addicted to eating onions. And we will cut the onion and make sure the pepper rounds it up. So he said, look at the onion as if you are looking at meat. It was a level of poverty, the lowest level of poverty. But then somebody was teaching me faith. Not knowing to him, he was teaching me how to get what I want by focusing on what I want to get. So he would say, look at the thing. And he was able to now work on our psychology and mentality so much that when we are now eating that onion that is big, it begins to taste like meat. And when we started having money to buy meat, we don't want meat anymore. We are just okay with this. And then we are the biggest and the tallest in the neighborhood. I'm not saying train your children up that way, but because we didn't have, and we have been taught the power of contentment, we make do with what was available. And nobody complained in the family. So it is very general and perfect. It is even constant. You can't change it. Every Saturday we drink pap and either akara or moi moi. So we can have a bowl of pap, maybe like 1 liter of pap, and the moi moi or akara that will get to you might not be more than 2 pieces. And then you begin to use the smell of pap and akara to drink a bowl of pap. You use the smell of moi moi or akara to drink a bowl, so you drink it. Because you know when you finish the pap and the akara before you finish the moinmoin akara before you finish the pap, you will lose interest, and you don't waste food in this house. So you just use milk to drink your pap. It was a time of great depression, but we were contented. We were drinking it with joy. We were eating it with joy. We fly our shoulder up with pride because we were trained by parents who taught us contentment first, even at the early age. I didn't know how they were treating me in the infant time, but I grew up to know that the little you have should be more than enough for you. Are you training your own children up that way? So eventually today, if I get married or when I get married eventually, and I have the money, but I don't want my children to have some things. My wife just had to understand that I'm trying to train them up for something bigger. Now, I've been through several times of financial downtime without begging anybody for money as an adult. And even as an introvert, it's very hard for me to ask you for money. Yeah, I come online. When people need money on the platform, they need help. I help them solicit funds, I give it to them. But for me to ask people for what I need, it's very difficult for me. I jokingly said something sometimes ago. Somebody saw me and said, yeah, you are repeating your clothes most often. Don't you have much clothes? Let me buy for you now. Tell me your size. They are coming from America. They will bring for you and all that. And I stopped picking the person's call. Not because I don't like the person or the person offended me, but I was so shy to reply the person with my size of clothes. I felt I'm okay with what I have. And when it is time, I'm going to have enough money to be able to change it. I look forward beyond what is available now. It's beyond this. It's beyond this. And because I was trained to be contented, even when it comes to the issue of fame, I'm okay. I don't need fame. I would rather stand alone than to be a boy of someone who is evil. So it's easy for me to be calling people out and saying, yeah, this thing you are doing is evil, this is bad, I can't do this, I can't, because I've seen them as an insider to know what they are doing, how covetous and how crazy they are for relevance. Sometimes I come online and I'm teaching for like an hour and something, and only one person is watching me, only one person. And the next day, I'm back online to teach again. Contentment, contentment. I was trained to know that what you do for one, you use the same energy to serve one person as you will use to serve 1 million people. So if I have one person by my side listening to me, I teach them as if I'm teaching millions of people because I understand the power of one. How did it start? Mentality of contentment. Mentality of contentment. How I was raised up. Are you raising your children up like this? That's why they are so desperate. They can do anything to be relevant. So when someone is not listening to them anymore, either they blackmail someone, or they go naked on Instagram, or they do something crazy, or they pull up propaganda or controversy for themselves to be able to stay relevant. Because you failed in that part of their life. So if they really want it, they must earn it. And the dividends of earning what they really want, the luxury of life, are the things that are slated for you right now. This is intentional parenting, coming up every Wednesday of a week, where we talk about how we can raise our children up to replace us as the good leaders of tomorrow. And this is what we discussed today. If they want it so badly, they must earn it seriously. Teach them to earn the luxury of life, but provide for their basic need in life. I don't see what a child of 8-year-old, a child of 17 or 16 is doing with a smartphone that is worth 45,000 naira. A child that has never worked for 1,000 naira in all his life, all her life, then you just give them that huge amount of money. You see, what you do is that you expose their longing and their appetite to greater things. So when they want to ask you for food now, they ask you for the one that is double the size of this one. Why? Because you messed up their life. You disvirgin their mentality to become an entitlement mentality. And it will also reflect back on your own pocket, because you will constantly be broke. You will constantly be broke. while trying to satisfy the need of the children. And you realize you never get to live life at all. And this is what I want you to know. I'm not cursing you. There is no surety that you will get from these children when they grow up. The boys want to grow up and spend on their girlfriend first. The girls want to grow up, fall in love with a man and put money on their family first. And at the end of the day, you expose them to nothing you can't keep up. And because you can't keep it up, when they start earning also, they begin to use their money for the exposure you are giving to them, and they don't get to cater for you at the end of the day. So that's basically it. I've shared wisdom with you today, and peradventure you have children, you have been exposed to this thing already. Find a way out to begin to curb their appetite. You need to help them. It's a matter of emergency. With immediate alacrity, if you have exposed these children to the things that you know they cannot, or this luxury they have not been earning, find a way to curb them now. Now you have several cars, and then you even hired a driver for your child. You hire a driver for your child when their school is just stone throw. You hire a driver for your child when you can actually maximize the same money to pay school bus to come pick them. To make them understand that you wake up early to be able to meet up with appointment. But because you don't want to stress them, you hire a driver for them and make them wake up when they feel like waking up. So you give them that mentality and attitude and the culture of always getting to meeting late. Because you have messed up their lives. There's a lot I have to share with you. But time will not permit me. Time will not permit me. My name is Greatman Ayilara. I only want us to be able to raise children passionately and intentionally in a way that they should go, so that most of the social repairment that we are doing right now, our own children to take up from us, to begin to correct it in the life of the children that we are raising up right now, especially in this modern time of electronic everything. There's nothing stopping them from going to vacation in the village. But you have exposed them to UK and Dubai with expensive money. So much more that if you go less than that, they feel like you hate them. But there are several cultural heritage around Africa, around everywhere you can take them to. The white men bring their own children to come and know the African culture, what you call taboo. You take your own children over there and expose them to life of uncontrolled. God will help our children to grow up well, and He will take care of us, give us the right wisdom to be able to help these children to grow up and have a good life. You can reach out to me on 08078384845, 08078384845. Peradventure, you have questions, you have trouble, we can troubleshoot together. Let's talk about this thing together and better way to approach these things. I am passionate about parenting, and I know we can have victory over them. Raising children that can carry on our family name, our legacy, children that will be filling up the obvious vacuum of leadership we have all over Africa right now. Children who go into public offices, not to loot treasury, but to serve humanity. And I'm using this medium also to welcome you. If you want to be one of our supporters at Greatman Foster Homes and Shelter, Greatman Foster Homes and Shelter, if you want to be one of our supporters, right there in that place where we are trying to build up a series of structure for children that are living on the street, preteens and teenagers who are living on the street and under the bridge. We welcome your support, we welcome your idea, and we will also be rolling out this particular plan online very soon. Once again, I apologize for that trip of light. I do not have control of wherever I am right now in terms of light, internet, and all of those things. And I hope that things will stabilize one time and one day in Nigeria. If we have children who are well raised, who understand their duty, who knows that infrastructure and basic amenity of the nation first, we won't still be complaining about light in this 21st century in Nigeria on how rich we are, how stinkingly rich we are. These are the fallout of poor parenting. unintentional parenting. And until we begin to correct them, we will all suffer for it. God bless you, and grace be with you. You can follow me on my social media, either Instagram or Facebook. Just type at the Greatman Ayilara, at the Greatman Ayilara, and then you can reach out to me also on my YouTube channel. You can access several resources, things I've talked about before, discussion of the poor of before, either on religion, politics, or parenting. Just go to YouTube and type Greatman Ayilara, subscribe, and also press your share button. God bless you. I love you from the bottom of my heart, and this is my prayer over your children. They will turn out well. Bye for now.